Hello, everybody. Namaskar. Welcome to my channel, Shukriya, Zindagi. And today we have yet another lovely guest with me, Mr. Sudhanshu Mishra. And I thought he was a young boy, and he's even younger than what I thought he was. So today we have this person here. See, you can see his smile, his beautiful laughter. And I welcome you, Sudhanshu. How are you doing today?
I am very good, and your such a sweet introduction has made me feel even younger and better. So thank you for that. Thank you.
So
You're very kind.
I was telling my husband that today I have to interview one young boy called Sudhanshu Mishra. And then today when I was looking in the LinkedIn, I saw that who you were. And I said, my God, like he's done so much of work at such a young age. So kudos to you, Sudhanshu. So tell me a little bit about
Thank you.
yourself.
Thank you.
Tell me.
Yeah. So should I start from the beginning or should I
Yeah,
start
yeah,
from where I am?
whatever. Yeah, tell me
Okay.
everything. Yeah.
So I was born in Dehradun. Let me go in the chronological order. Born in Dehradun to a father who was in the Air Force. Mother was a homemaker and grew up all over the country. Father had a transferable job every 2 or 3 years. We were in a new place. So I did my schooling across 6 different schools, mostly Kendriya Vidyalayas. And then I did a degree in engineering because if you didn't like biology, that was the only option for you at that time. In those days, you were either doing engineering or you doing medicine. If you were good in studies, if you were not, then not. Then you had very little choice actually. So I was a good student. I did well in school, and I was a very obedient and a good boyish kind of a person at that time. And then after school, I did the engineering degree in computer science. Those days, computers were very uh, vintage kind of machines. If you look at those computers today, they used to, one computer used to occupy like almost like as much space as a washing machine. So so I did my computer science there. We had to take off our slippers or shoes outside the computer center and get into the room, and there were a lot of ways of, delicate ways of handling them. After the engineering, when I started doing engineering, I started realizing that I don't want to become an engineer. My heart was not in it. I was doing well in academics, but that was just because of the momentum and because of a little bit of effort and probably a little smartness. But I was not enjoying that, so I thought I have to do something else. I can't do this kind of work all my life. And that's when I learned about MBA. So I decided to do an MBA. I was fortunate. I got admission into one of the premium business schools of the country. I did my MBA from IIM Lucknow. And it was like on the trot immediately after engineering, I went into business school. And when I was in business school, I was quite fascinated by the kind of exposure I got, the kind of, corporate view of the corporate that I got, the ringside view of the corporate world. And I decided to get into sales and marketing. I thought, this is the most glamorous part of management and in a very nice lifestyle. You have a lot of travel, you meet new people, you make money, you get to see new things, and you of course interact with a lot of people. So I kind of enjoyed that. So I got into sales, and I had a thoroughly enjoying a sales career for quite a few years. I started with a company called Xerox, then went into Wipro and a few other companies. And I have an overall experience of more than 28 years in the corporate world in sales and business management. But towards the latter part of my career, maybe in the last 8 or 10 years, I started realizing that somehow I was not enjoying it as much as I had enjoyed it earlier. Maybe it was tired, or maybe it was just fatigue of, or maybe it was just as you rise higher in the organizations, that the environment also changes. As they say, the higher you go, the lesser oxygen you get. So I wanted to do something different. And in my career as a sales leader, I had always enjoyed grooming and mentoring people, coaching people. So I decided to explore the world of coaching. And that's when I learned about coaching. It was about 8, 9 years ago. I learned about the concept of coaching. Before that, coaching was only either for competitive exams or sports coaches. I had not heard of coaching in any other, context. So I decided to explore the option of coaching. In fact, a friend of mine who had just got into coaching told me about it, and he worked with me. He coached me also. I'm really grateful to him for introducing me to the concept. And then I realized that this was wonderful. You could with very simple frameworks, with a very simple way of working closely with, you could make so much impact. And the minute you make an impact on somebody, it gives, at least for me, it gives me more satisfaction than any amount of revenue or any amount of sales target achievement used to give. So I started doing that. When I was in a job, of course, I was not able to do it commercially. So I used to work with NGOs to help young adults from underprivileged sections find their, careers or build their, career paths. And I still do that. I still give a few hours to that NGO every month to help these young boys and girls in the age group 18 to 22, especially girls in that age group coming from the lowest section of the societies, really struggle a lot if they want to make a career, because they are always under pressure to get married very early or get into very difficult domestic situations. They're at the wrong end of domestic violence. They get abused and they get their aspirations, their ambitions are completely throttled. So there is this NGO which works to get people out of that environment. And these young boys and girls don't have any role models in their own community. So when people like me work there, they really look up to us for small pearls of wisdom, small pearls of encouragement and motivation. And it is so satisfying if you're able to make an impact on their life. So I've been doing that for several years now. And that is all the coaching I used to do. It was during the last year, the 2020, the year that changed so many lives and to change the whole world in a way, really, because of the pandemic. It is during that year that I started thinking about coaching more seriously. Earlier, it was always at the back of my mind as a retirement plan, that once I retire from the corporate world, I would do this. But then I thought, it is last year actually was a year of a little bit of introspection, reflection, and a lot of changes, a lot of emotional stress. I also went through COVID. My whole family went through COVID. So that then I decided to exit the corporate world. Of course, things were also not working out very well. Companies were also very happy to let go of people, and I also realized that if it's not now, then it will never happen. And when I also started realizing the value of relationships, spending more time with the family, the flexibility of time, the flexibility of doing what you want to do, these kind of things are not really given to you in a corporate career. And the lack of that flexibility, the lack of that freedom, the lack of the closeness and the with your family makes it very, very stressful. So I decided to take a break. I didn't want to jump into anything in a hurry, because I've been used to getting a paycheck at the end of every month. Initially a paycheck, and the last few years it's just a SMS message on the first of every month that such and such amount has been credited to your bank account. That is such a comforting feeling. So, and I come from a family where everybody was in some kind of a job. It was a service family, service oriented family. Everybody was employed, and we were always encouraged to get into a job and earn a monthly paycheck to run your household. So there was always this fear that once you stop earning, uh, or you stop having a job, how will you run your house? So I took a little bit of a calculated risk. I said, let me just see, will I shouldn't be on the streets if I stop working. So I realized that I won't be on the street. So decided to take a break. I had a couple of job offers. I decided to put them on hold. And I thought, let me see if I can do something other than a job, which makes me happier, which gives me the flexibility of time and freedom to do what I want to do. And perhaps also helps me make some money, maybe not as much as a corporate salary, but a little bit close to that. So which will keep the kitchen fires going smoothly. So I deliberated over that during the first quarter of this year, January, February, March. And then I was still in two minds. I'm a very indecisive person, actually. For all that I've done in my life, I still find it difficult to take decisions. So I went through this phase of indecisiveness, and some of my friends who've known me, I'm close to, who I've been speaking to, were always know about this. I would always, my mind was always vacillate between the two options that I had. But in the month of April, when the second wave of COVID came in, and then I saw a lot of people close to me going away. A young cousin who was like a younger brother to me. Two of my uncles who were very close to my mother, my mother's brother, my mama's, younger than my mother. So in the month of April, May, and a couple of my close friends, some other people I knew very well, uh, I I realized that life is so fragile. You don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. Life is so full of uncertainties. It is perhaps not a good idea to spend your time doing things that you don't truly cherish. It's important to spend your time on things that you enjoy, things that you give you fulfillment, things where you think you make a difference, and things which help you get a peaceful night of sleep every day. And also, of course, it's important to spend time with your family, be close to them, because you don't know how much time anybody has on this planet, right? Now, I know this may be sounding very profound, may sound a little unrealistic, but one was really at very close quarters with these
We did.
thoughts
Yeah.
during the last, 3-4 months, April, May,
Yeah.
June. And then I decided that let me instead of trying to ride on two boats, let me just jump into this coaching career, give it a try. If it doesn't work, I'll think of a job later on. Somebody will give me some work. I'm not so useless a person. So, but let me give it a try, because this way I can make an impact on people's lives. I can help people, and I can also find some joy and fulfillment for myself. And and of course, the flexibility of time and being able to be with my family. My mother was going through some medical problems, and she wanted me close to her, or I wanted to be close to her. To be honest, she's a very strong lady. She's not someone who'll ask me for help, but I realized that I have to be close to her. If not now, then when? So I wanted to be close to her. All that these thoughts then kind of inspired me to start doing a little bit of coaching work, and I just took that plunge. This happened in the month of May, actually, when I actually decided that I will not look for a job anymore. I will go for a career in executive coaching. I started looking out for clients. I was fortunate to get some very early clients, individuals from very good companies, from big four consulting firm, from very large product companies, from well-established, well-funded startups, uh, some very good entrepreneurs. So I got a series of clients, and that kind of started filling up my calendar along with the work that I was doing for this NGO that I spoke about. And I started building on that. And then, people started liking my work. I started through word of mouth. Some small companies and small organizations started inviting me for delivering webinars on various topics. And I have kind of now found a little bit of a niche in helping mid-career professionals find their growth, find their direction in their careers. I'm also doing a little bit of work on mindfulness and emotional intelligence side with some executives. I've also got, because of my prior experience, I've got some work in the sales coaching, sales consulting space, which I think I have an expertise in, and where people are valuing the work that I'm doing. And uh, recently, I've just landed a couple of corporate assignments as well, which are helping. So to be honest, while I'm nowhere close to making the kind of salary I was getting in a corporate job, but I'm definitely, on the happiness scale, I'm much ahead of where I was. And even the financial scale, I don't think I'm ahead of the goals that I had set for myself. So that is very, very satisfying. So so that's where it is. I don't know. I've given a very long answer to a very short question from you, but I hope I've answered the question.
It was really from the heart. And what I like about you is that you're already a coach. I think the basic principle that is required in coaching is the urge or the passion to be able to be of some use to someone. Like my father used to say, किसी के काम आने की बात है, तुम किसी के काम आना, ये याद रखना। तो जो आपने बताई है बात, जो आपके दिल से निकली है बात, तो ये है कि you want to help people, you want to be of service to people, and you empathize with people. Like what you're talking about, emotional intelligence. I think the first quality which comes in emotional intelligence is empathy, and that is what you have a lot within you. And this is going to take you, I think, long way in the field of coaching. You're saying that financially you're not close to it, but this is just a start, and you're already doing so
Thank you.
much. Yeah, you are doing so much, and this your qualities in you. You're so simple and you're so down to earth. I really love that about you, and this is going to take you a really long way. So my question to you is, Ki, you said that in your times, even in my times, we didn't have many years, but today our students and our youngsters, they have like so many options, what they want to do. They can do so much of graphic designing, and I think the advantage that the students have today is that their creativity is brought into much use today. So what would you like to say about to the youngsters of today? They can choose a
See,
lot, and they have to, I think, yeah, you tell me what you think about it.
See, to the youngsters of today, the challenge I'm seeing, and I'm seeing this in a lot of young people around me, is that they lack focus
Okay.
because this world has come to become a world of instant gratification. We are looking for quick fix solutions and instant gratification. That's how and it's probably the need of the hour because everything is available to us at the touch of a button. Earlier, for example, I remember days when to book a railway ticket, also we had to go to the railway station and stand in line for 3 hours sometimes, right? Or to withdraw money from your own bank account, you had to go to the bank, go to the counters, deposit a check, collect a token, stand in the cashier's line, etc. So everything used to take time, and there was a little bit of a that was a learning experience. All the time that you spent in these things was a test of your patience, was a test of your persistence, perseverance, and it made you somewhere. It made you gave you a kind of strength of character, which I think today's generation is missing out on because to them everything is available at the touch of even general awareness facts. For example, we used to pride ourselves on knowing the state capitals of all the states or capitals of all the countries, recognizing the flags of different countries, knowing the president of Bolivia, or these kind of general knowledge. Today's youngsters couldn't care less. They don't even remember their parents' phone numbers because they say there's no need to, you know, uh, because it's all available to them at the touch of a button. Now, I think this is why this is good to have. What this has taken away is the focus and the ability to persist in this face of adversities. I think their ability to deal with adversities, their ability to deal with challenges, their ability to stick to a direction, their ability to live in a world without choices uh,
Too many
has
choices.
become very, very difficult. Today, they have too many choices. We did not, as I said, when I was a student, we did not have choices. You had to choose between A or B, and there was no C, right? Today, they have A to Z and many more, right? Now, that is where I think they go through a kind of something called as decision fatigue. I recently learned about this. That today, earlier, an average person had very few decisions to make every day.
Oh,
Today, an average person makes close to 300 decisions in a day. Right? There are so many choices in everything that you want to do, and uh, so that is taking away a lot of the mental energy and mental strength that used to get built up through sheer labor, through sheer
yeah.
effort, or through sheer persistence. I think that is something that today's generation is lacking, and I fear that the effect of this on the overall world may start coming out in 10, 15, 20 years from now when this generation is running the world, right?
So,
Because they will. Sorry.
yeah,
So
continue.
while this is coming, I'm not saying that this generation has its own strengths, but I think the people who do well, or the people who turn out as winners, will be the people who have focus, who have persistence, and who are willing to, you know, uh, willing to make decisions, or willing to live in a world without choices. Who are able to take decisions quickly. I think that is what will determine a lot of things. Otherwise, other than that, I think that today's generation is far more brilliant than they were than our times. They have much more exposure, they have much more knowledge, they're emotionally strong also in many ways. I understand, and they're more sensitive. Their ability to deal with their understanding of the different types of nuances of emotions or segmentations in the society are very, very strong. And
Yeah,
so I think that there are some strengths they bring to the table, but I think among them, those who can stay focused, who can persist with one thing at a time, who are able to live in a world without choices, as I said, and
wow.
who don't, yeah, and who are able to simplify their lives. The too many choices also complicate your life. If you're able to simplify your life, you are definitely ahead of others because you don't have to take many decisions, and your mind is free to do other creative stuff.
Absolutely. And I remember one incident when my son was appearing for his 10th standard or 12th standard, I don't remember. He was sitting with me and he was studying for his exam. and his friend called him up, and he just closed his book, and he said, "Mama, I'm going for a movie." So my dad was sitting next to me, and he said that, "Why are you
Oh,
going for a movie? You're studying. You have an exam day after tomorrow." So he said, "It's okay. I've already finished my studying, and I will come back and do my studies." So my dad pointed it out to him that, you have to focus your time for your studies, focus your time for outside activities. And I remember him, not going for that movie, and that was a time for winning for me. But I think we have a great role to play in our children's lives, in our youngsters' lives, because we are the people. We show them the way by doing the right thing.
yes,
We may be, if we watch a lot of Netflix, our children are going to do the same. If we are smoking, they're going to do the smoking. If we are eating all kinds of junk food, they're going to eat junk food. So I think we have a role
yes,
to play by, carving out a niche for ourselves, and then showing them the way by way of behavior, by way of the way we behave. So that's what I wanted to say. And our youngsters are teaching us a lot, and I rightly say that we are learning a lot from our children. And if we keep our ears open, and if we keep our brains open, if we listen to what the children are saying, we are going to learn a lot from them. And the same thing I tell to my children, that you listen to what we are saying. Like you said, you were a very obedient child. I was also a very obedient child. So my son is telling, I'm also very obedient. So I said, in what way are you obedient? He says, I'm obedient because I ask you why. Because today's children are always asking, why should I do this? And I think they need a lot of answers. It's a curiosity in their mind, which is making them ask questions.
yeah,
And we should be ready with the
yes,
answers. Why do you fast? Why do you need to do this puja? Why do you need to do this ritual? So we have to be ready with the
yeah,
answers to tell them. They're not going to believe anything what is coming just from the sky. So we have to be ready with the mythological stories. Like my father told me a lot of stories of freedom fighters. Our children don't know anything about patriotism.
yeah,
We should be ready to tell them who was Chandrasekhar Azad, what was Swami Vivekananda, yes, what was Mahatma Gandhi's teaching. I think there's a big role in our adults, as adults and as elders, we have to teach them, and we have to show them what we want to tell them about life, and that wisdom has to be given slowly, slowly. Not sounding like a pravachan, but in the form of small, small stories. If we tell them, I think we will have better lives together. That is what I learned from my dad. My dad used to take me for dates. We used to go for dates together, and we used to watch a movie.
oh,
If you're watching a movie like Dur Gagan Ki Chhaav Mein, I don't know if you have seen it. So that movie, when we
no,
were
no, I haven't.
watching, my father would pakao me. He would pakao me. He would say, "देखो, वो ऐसे कर रहे हैं. किशोर कुमार का ये role है. वो बच्चा का." I don't know if you remember. He lost his voice. That child loses his voice, and then the father helps him to get back his voice. So all these, things were having a great effect on me, a great impact on me as a child. So I think, Sudhanshu, what you're doing is beautiful, and your executive coaching, I wish you all the best in your journey. And what we can do to our children in our own lives and around us, is, pave the way for them by showing them the right thoughts. So anything else you would like to say as a last message? We have time.
You know,
Yeah.
yeah, so no, I think we've covered most of what I wanted to say. In any case, it's the only advice I would like to give to people is to try and simplify their lives.
Yeah.
There are too much clutter, too much noise, too many choices that we have, and that is what is causing so much stress. So you should simplify, take decisions quickly, and then don't, don't uh, don't lose focus. That's very important. I said that before. Recently I was reading a book called The Happiness Equation by a very celebrated author called Neil Pasricha. He's given a couple of examples. For example, a simple decision like what to wear in the month, what to wear on a given day. Sometimes a little bit of mental energy is spent on that. A lot of people, especially some very famous people, eliminate that decision from their lives by simplifying it. Like Mark Zuckerberg has 20 t-shirts, identical gray color t-shirts. He just wears the same gray color t-shirt every day. Barack Obama had suits only when he was the president of the US. He only had blue and gray suits. He would not wear a third color. He was very clear that every day he would be wearing a blue and gray. And he had a set of shirts, whatever is on top of the stack, he would wear that. And, so simplifying such simple decisions, or, what takes away a lot of your mental energy, saves a lot of mental energy, and makes it easier for you to manage your life. And so these are something that I have suggestions about. And then, of course, the more you work on your happiness, the better you are, the better the world is. And if you have a purpose, if you are happy, then you obviously keep negativity away. You spread more positivity, like you are doing, Dr. Alkachada. I'm really happy with it. I've seen a lot of your work. I've seen a lot of your work on social media, and we've been interacting for a while. I know that you're doing some fantastic work. So kudos to you. And thank you for giving me this opportunity to have this conversation with you and sharing my thoughts.
And I want to
Thank you very
share,
much.
I want to share one last thing, which I forgot to tell you, that in 1999 I became a yoga teacher. The reason was that my husband is a piece of happiness in the house, a wonder of happiness in the house, and I wanted to learn, what is it that makes a person happy. And what I learned in the yoga class was that it's about controlling your mind. It's about restraining your
Yeah,
mind, and that's the great message to give to our kids today. Like you said, the choices that we have are too many. We can restrict our choices only when we restrain our mind, when we restrain our
yeah,
mind to say what we have to say or not say what we don't have to say. But today's kids, they just say what they want to say without even what किसी को बुरा लगेगा या नहीं लगेगा. But that's the one point
true.
I wanted to just share, because I think in all our phases of our life, as a child, as a professional, as a housewife, as a couple, we need to restrain ourselves, and the yoga knowledge will come a very big handy. And meditations and pranayams are very good for your mental peace and mental happiness. They go a long, long way as a very beautiful tool and technique. Thank you, Sudhanshu, for coming for this show. And I'm so grateful for you. And we'll meet again with some more new ideas and new things to share with each other. And I wish you all the best for your future endeavors. I wish you become a
Thank
greatest
you very
coach
much.
in the world. I wish you that. And you
Thank
need
you.
to come. And you
Thank you.
need to
Thank you.
come.
Thank you very much.
Thank